Good morning and welcome. It's Corporate Governance Platform right here on ECO 89.7 FM. Corporate Governance Platform is brought to you by the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN, which is a leading professional body in Nigeria that is dedicated to enhancing the status and practice of corporate governance and public administration. ICSAN is the only professional body that is authorized in Nigeria to conduct the examinations leading to the qualification of chartered secretaries and administrators. My name is Funmi Omoburiowo. Today on the program, we're looking at nature and effect of compliance in the context of corporate governance. Nature and effect of compliance in the context of corporate governance. We have our guest joining us online all the way from Delta, Mrs. JULIANA EHIGIAMUSE, FCIS Chairman, Edo Delta Chapter of ICSAN. Good morning, madam.
Good morning, madam. Thank you for having me this morning.
Thank you for joining us on Corporate Governance Platform. All right, we also have right here in the studio Mr. Kayode Ketefe, who is Head of Research, ICSAN. Good morning, Mr. Ketefe.
Good morning for me. It's always my pleasure to be here. Good morning, our dear listeners.
All right, we're going to take this message and we'll be right back.
Hey, Obinna, good to see you. You look so worried. Is everything all right? I'm having serious issues in my company. Balancing the interest of my company's many stakeholders like shareholders, management, customers, financiers, government, and community is giving us a problem. That has to do with corporate governance. Exactly. Then you need to get in touch with ICSAN. ICSAN? Yeah, Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria. ICSAN. They provide you with seasoned and top-ranking professionals trained to uphold the standards of corporate governance and efficient operations. You can also get in touch with ICSAN if you want to become a chartered secretary and administrator. Contact ICSAN by visiting the website www.icsan.org or call 009 06 601 69. ICSAN, the hub of governance professionals.
All right, still Corporate Governance Platform right here, brought to you by ICSAN. And like I said earlier, we're looking at nature and effect of compliance in the context of corporate governance. Mrs. EHIGIAMUSE, let's look at it. The term compliance, what exactly does it refer to?
Compliance? But I didn't get that well.
Yeah, the term compliance, what exactly are we referring to?
Okay, the term compliance generally in business is talking about following stated laws and regulations in your industry. And then when you talk of corporate governance, it's the practice of taking deliberate steps to comply with the relevant laws, regulations, directives, policies, and principles of the corporate governance code. And this, of course, presupposes that there are laws, there are rules, there are codes that exist, while compliance is adhering to those laws and regulations. And this fosters sustainability in the business, while the non-compliance can attract enormous risk and also incur doom for the organization.
Now, why is compliance such an important issue in corporate governance?
Well, in corporate governance, it involves directing the enterprise, it involves supervising the executive actions, and then assessing a duty to be accountable, involves regulation of the corporation within the jurisdiction of the state that corporation operates. So, essence of governance framework generally to encourage the efficient use of the resources and equally to require accountability for the stewardship of those resources to those entrusted with the governance of the company. Now, of course, the aim is to align as much as possible with the interests of the individuals, the corporations, and the society. Now, the notion of compliance in corporate governance is an inherent part of risk management, which is itself an integral part of corporate governance, and is the basic foundation of corporate governance because it consists of essentially doing things according to prescriptions of the laws, the regulations, directives, prescribed codes, And if without adhering to this, corporate governance cannot take root in an organization, as adherence to laws, ethics, and prescribed codes are a natural consequence of corporate governance itself.
Now, let's look at this statement that says that non-compliance can spell doom for an organization. Let's look at this in the context of corporate governance.
Okay, yes, I did make that statement when I answered your first question when we were talking about defining corporate governance. In risk management, there are risks associated with non-compliance, and we call this legal risk. These risks that result from lack of awareness, lack of a misunderstanding, reckless indifference, or even refusal to apply the provisions of the law, provisions of regulations, or directives to an organization or a business or corporate practice. Now, these non-compliances, they can have dire consequences, which could include serious financial loss, damage to reputation, or even great threat to the organization's sustainability. Now, because for this reason, companies should engage regularly in compliance assessments to determine their present state of compliance, ascertain how they are faring, and gain insight into any potential risk that non-compliance may bring about. If they identify any risk, they should promptly implement any corrective measure deemed necessary to address such lapse.
We talk about different kinds of compliance: legal compliance, corporate governance compliance, ethical compliance. Let's look at each of these. Can you just explain what is meant by each of this?
Okay, these terms you just mentioned, they refer to the different aspects of compliance. Legal compliance refers to compliance with the laws and regulations guiding the company. Corporate governance compliance means compliance with the provisions of the applicable corporate governance code. Ethical compliance, talking about compliance with the code of ethics established either by external agents like the government, its agencies, or even internally by the company itself as a kind of guide or reference. So all these modes of compliance, they are not just interrelated, they are also cumulative. So a company, an organization needs to observe all of them, can't observe one and neglect the other.
All right. The corporate governance compliance and ethical compliance, I want you to take them one after the other.
Sorry, the line wasn't clear just now.
Okay, I said let's look at corporate governance compliance, ethical compliance. I want you to look at each of them. I don't want you to, explain all of them together.
Okay, that was what I just did. Or was that not the original question?
Yeah, that was it, just to expatiate a little bit on them.
Okay, legal compliance. And I said that the laws and regulations that a company is given, either by the government or within the company itself, maybe by its memo, its articles. So compliance with those laws and regulations falls into the aspect of legal compliance. Then when you talk about corporate governance compliance, I talked about corporate governance earlier, those are compliance specifically with the provisions of the applicable corporate governance code. There's a corporate governance code in existence presently that is applicable to organizations and companies. So I talked of legal, I talked of corporate. Then ethical compliance. We have a code of ethics. Just like I mentioned before, it could have been established by the government, it could be or its agencies, we have agencies under the government, or it could be by the company itself, maybe in their reference, in their guiding rules, in their memo, in their articles. So when a company complies with the provisions of this code of ethics that are made available and that apply to them, that is ethical. So I talked of legal, I talked of corporate, I talked of ethical. Then I mentioned at the end of it that these three agencies or these three aspects of compliance, they are not separate, they are not observed in isolation. They are integrated, they are cumulative. Organizations are required as they are looking out to comply with legal provisions. They are also allowed to comply with corporate governance codes as well as ethical compliance in running their organization.
All right, let's look at a company's reputation, or what impact does compliance have on this?
Okay, what impact does compliance have on a company's
reputation?
Reputation, okay. Compliance is about operating according to dictates of the law. Talk about the aspects, the different aspects. And then What this involves making sure that all the requisite filings are done with the appropriate authorities. It also involves adhering to the prescription of laws, regulations, directives, policies laid down by authorities in the environment in which the organization is operating. So when an organization does this, they diligently follow the path of compliance. The end result is a good reputation in the public eye, a good reputation. We talk of a corporate social responsibility, and this, they will have the reputation of being a conscientious, ethical, and responsible entity. This will boost the company's brand, help them to impact positively in all aspects, all ramifications of its business, its operations, and then it also tends to shield the company from risk that non-compliance could entail. So, summarily, the practice of due diligence and the attendant good reputation that comes with it, we also, increase interest of the public, maybe investment from the public, investments of investors too will increase, and then to make it easier for the organization to access capital, to retain top talent in their human resources, and ultimately accelerated growth and development for such a company.
All right, thank you so much, Mrs. Juliana EHIGIAMUSE, who is the chairman, Edo Delta chapter of ICSAN. Thank you so much for joining us on Corporate Governance this morning.
My pleasure, ma'am.
All right. Okay, Mr. Ketafe, let's take some announcements at this time.
Thank you very much, Fumi. Our dear listeners, please listen attentively to the following announcements. ICSAN FRC Corporate Governance Masterclass. This is to inform all corporate governance professionals and members of the public generally that the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN, in collaboration with Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria, FRC, is organizing a 2-day corporate governance masterclass. This training, which is scheduled to hold between October 13 to 14, 2020, has the theme Practical Application of Nigeria Code of Corporate Governance 2018, a code of best practice. Practical Application of Nigeria Code of Corporate Governance 2018, a code of best practice. The course contents include the following, among other highlights and enriching perspective of the major theme. 1. Overview of Nigeria Code of Corporate Governance NCCG 2018, compliance expectation. 2. Reporting and compliance mechanism of Nigeria Code of Corporate Governance 2018. 3. The strategic role of the board in enriching good corporate culture. And 4. Corporate governance framework and practice relating to board. Participation at this training is by both physical and virtual method. The venue of the physical meeting is NECA House, Central Business District, Alausa, Ikeja. However, please note that because of the restriction of mass gathering, the maximum number allowed to participate through physical means is just 25. That is to say, only 25 participants will be allowed to participate in the training physically. Others will have to join virtually. The participation fee is 60,000 naira per participant through virtual mode and 70,000 naira per participant through physical mode. Please note that 5% discount is available for early birds. That is payment received up to 2 weeks before virtual training. For registration and inquiries, please contact Oyeniyeweje on 080-6152-4764. Oyeniyeweje on 080-6152-4764 or Fola Shadi on 080-331-72876. Follow Shadi on 080-331-72876. The second announcement is on our forthcoming second diet examination, ICSAN 2020 second diet examination. This is to remind all our students and other stakeholders that the registration is in progress for second diet examination of the Institute for the year 2020. The registration will close on October 31st, 2020. The lecture for the examination has started since last Saturday, that is September 5th, 2020. For further detail on this, please call 080-9066-0169. 080-9066-0169. Thank you and have a nice day.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Kayode Ketefe. And that's it on Corporate Governance Platform this morning, brought to you by the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN. I am Funmi Omoburi. We'll join us same time, same station next week. Good morning.